As Christians, we're called to forgive, whether it's requested or not, because we believe it benefits the giver more than the receiver. It's a principle that applies across the board. When you add in generations of oppression, however, the dynamic proves to be different. The wrongful death of George Floyd is now seared into the consciousness of America. Cell phone video of the incident led to a moral explosion around the world and became the catalyst for seeming cultural change in the United States. But it had been mounting. David Bailey specializes in racial reconciliation.
Race relations in America stays at a simmer, and then there's an incident that comes in that takes it up to a boiling point. But it's always there.
In this case, the boiling point followed closely behind the deaths of jogger Ahmaud Arbery in Georgia and 26-year-old Breonna Taylor, shot by Louisville police, serving a no-knock warrant. Pastor Bill Haley's Coracle Ministry focuses on spiritual development and action. He says forgiveness should be a part of any ongoing cultural shift, especially among Christians.
I would like us to get to a place where white Americans are constantly asking for forgiveness from Black Americans for what we've done and for what we do and for what we allow and sometimes what we even support.
He's quick to point out, though, that unsolicited forgiveness has been a norm for Black Americans.
In fact, I think the Black church is the teacher for the country on what Jesus meant when he said, forgive other people. They've had a lot of practice.
One of the biggest examples came last year in a Texas courtroom from a young man named Brant John.
I forgive you, and I know if you go to God and ask him, he will forgive you.
Those words came about a year after Dallas police officer Amber Geiger killed his brother, Botham John, in his own apartment. After working a long shift, she had somehow mistaken John's apartment for hers and shot him because she said she was afraid. Brant John then went even further.
I don't know if this is possible, but can I give her a hug, please? Please?
Yes.
When we watch Brant Jean offer forgiveness in that courtroom, we're watching God enter the room. Because forgiveness like that is not a human act. Forgiveness is PhD level Christianity because it's so very difficult. To be called to forgive means that something of value has been taken from you.
While Haley saw the act as honorable, some were infuriated.
Because Black people are always being asked to forgive. And it's a lot to forgive.
I think too often, particularly in conservative Christian spaces, we can be very forgetful of the 500-year history of our country.
Bailey says an expectation for Blacks to forgive goes back to slavery. On top of that, he says justice isn't just.
If that Black man killed the white police officer because he got confused about where he was, that was not going to be a thing. Like, that brother was going to go to jail for the rest of his life, might have got the electric chair.
In this case, the judge sentenced Geiger to 10 years in prison.
It seems so hard to have a police officer suitably punished for an action that is egregious and clearly over the line. 10 years seems merciful.
4 officers have been charged in George Floyd's death, one of them with second-degree murder, but a trial has yet to happen. For Christians, these situations present a challenge.
When you're a Christian, it just adds a new level of complexity because you got to see both the sin and the effects of sin, the consequences of sin, but then you also have to see the opportunities for grace and forgiveness in God. And
it's not something Marquise Jefferson wanted to do in October of last year.
I don't want no hug.
A Texas police officer shot and killed his daughter, Tatiana, at home as she played video games. Soon after, Jefferson made this declaration.
That's my one and only daughter. I'll never forget this.
Sadly, Jefferson died just 1 month after his daughter was killed. He died from a heart attack, literally a broken heart.
Unforgiveness is not the answer. Not showing grace is not the answer, but exercising grace and exercising forgiveness without truth is also not the answer.
Of course, from a legal perspective, whether or not a person gives or receives forgiveness has nothing to do with how one is punished, but it can make a difference in the court of public opinion and most certainly in the eyes of God. Eric Phillips, CBN News.